Welcome back, everyone. A West Point pastor with a love for food and people is gearing up to compete in an online cooking competition. So not only is it an opportunity to serve up some delicious flavors, but if he wins, he will be able to serve even more in his community. I'd like to welcome Pastor Chris Hunnicutt in studio this morning. Mr. Chris, thanks for making a stop on Christmas Eve.
It's a privilege and an honor for you to allow me to come. So I was glad to be here this morning.
Okay, so first of all, talk to me just a little bit more about the competition and how you kind of got involved with it.
Okay, a couple of years back when I moved to West Point, I'm actually from Alabama, so I moved to West Point. I noticed there was some online competitions, and one was The Greatest Chef.
Okay.
Well, I did that a couple of years ago, and I came up a little bit short, but this year they started doing another one called The Greatest Baker. So I decided, hey, I might as well do it again. So I've done it, and right now we have different groups that are competing, and I am in a group where I'm currently first place.
Okay, awesome.
In it. So, and the winner gets to be in what they call a magazine, and you get a full page spread, and you get $10,000.
Oh my goodness, awesome.
So I'm kind of hoping that I can be able to give back to West Point with some of that.
So I do have a question. Since it is an online baking competition, like how do we do the taste test to it?
It's not, I don't think it's so much the taste test. I think it's more of a popularity type thing because people within your city, like for instance, West Point, they go online and they vote for you.
Gotcha,
So
okay.
if people like my food, you know, they can go online and they can vote, but they also can go on and vote by donation.
Awesome.
So that's how they raise money for the cause that they're doing, and that kind of leads me into what I wanted to talk about with the foundation as well.
Okay, you can go right into it.
And the foundation is called the Andrew McConaughey Foundation. And it's called Be Positive Foundation. A lot of people look at that and think it says B plus, but it's Be Positive because Andrew McConaughey, he was like 14 years old. He was playing soccer. The next day he fell out, had leukemia. They found out he had leukemia, and after 157 days he succumbed to that cancer. And they ended up starting a foundation in his name, and they have raised a lot of money to help children that are fighting cancer. So that is what the money is being raised for, and The Greatest Baker is to go towards the foundation.
And then if you happen to win, you kind of have an idea of possibly a food truck bringing it to the area.
Look at possibly doing a food truck or one of those grills you can put on the back of your truck and you can ride around and you can be smoking meat while you're going down the road. Yeah, I'd like to do that.
My question is, I guess, how can people keep up with you in the competition then?
Well, what you can do is if you go on Facebook, I guess this is the easiest way, is look up me, Chris Hunnicutt, and I have posted every single day the competition. So if you click one of those links, it leads you right to my profile page where you can keep up with where I am in the competition. You can vote for me. You get a free vote every 24 hours. And then also you can donate. You can donate as much as you'd like. And I think that would be great.
So what really got you into cooking and baking? Because you started a YouTube channel, correct?
Yeah, I've got a YouTube channel on the Pastor Chef. What really got me into cooking was when I was about 10 or 11 years old. My grandma.
We'll have to wrap up that story. Stick around, guys. You can find us in the kitchen in just a few minutes, and Mr. Chris will tell us the rest. We'll be right back. All right, everyone, welcome back. So Mr. Chris Hunnicutt is joining us in studio. He's better known as the Pastor Chef, and he is actually in a baking competition that is online, but Mr. Chris is actually going to show us a little recipe of his first. But we were talking before we went to the break on our last segment how you got into like cooking and baking. So has this been something that you've loved doing forever or kind of just got started in?
I have. When I was about 11 years old, I would go into the kitchen with my grandmother.
Okay.
And she would help me kind of help her out some in the kitchen, and it just grew with that. So it was one of those things that just over time I just loved doing it, and then I started teaching myself how to cook. I'm self-taught, so I taught myself how to make so many different things like sushi, stuff like that.
So interesting.
I'll have to do a demonstration of that one day. So that, I mean, it's just something I have loved to do, and I love to minister to people. So that's been one of my passions.
Yes.
All this is done because I have a passion to let people just enjoy food.
Yes,
So-
well, we love that. And Miss Ashley Bryan is actually a baker. She does.
Not for
She
real.
posts on social media of her cooks, and they are
wanna
good.
take
I've
over?
tasted some.
No, see, I'm a stress baker. That's
Okay.
how I like calm
Well,
down.
that's what I do
Instead
too.
of putting glove into all of my baked goods,
so
I'm like taking this energy and these bad thoughts, and I'm like, we're gonna
You're
make
doing
it
that.
We're gonna
something
come together.
good.
All right, so Mr. Chris, I see we've got these humongous cookies. Is that what we're going to be
Yes,
making
we're
today?
going to make some homemade chocolate chip cookies.
Okay,
Can't go
And
wrong with that.
There's a couple of little tricks that I'm going to show you that I think helps make the taste even better. So
All
what
right,
I'm going to do
perfect.
is I'm going to show you kind of what I would go through on a, this is going to be kind of a condensed version of
Okay.
how we do it. But I'm going to start with the wet ingredients first. Now, the first thing that I do is I mix like 1 cup of light brown sugar.
Okay.
So I'm going to put that in my mixing bowl. I didn't bring the mixer with me because it weighs like a metric ton.
It's okay.
So
We understand.
I didn't. And so we got 1 cup of brown sugar, then we got 1 cup of white sugar.
Okay.
Which is kind of stuck to that a little bit, but luckily I have gloves on. I can just stick my
You
fingers
can.
in
Dig
there.
in.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that.
There's
Sugar.
nothing wrong with that. Long as
We're
it
in the
didn't-
kitchen, guys.
Long
You know
as
how
it
this
didn't lick my
goes.
fingers beforehand. So you got the 1 cup of sugar, both of those.
Okay.
Then you got 2 eggs. So you're gonna crack 2 eggs and put them in there.
One-handed.
I
Look at
can't
that
do that.
action,
I
y'all.
cannot do
So-
that.
Well, you say that now and give me props. I'm gonna get it all in there on the second one. So then you got 2 eggs you put in there, and you put 2 teaspoons of vanilla.
Okay.
Now get the good stuff. Sometimes the cheap stuff is not all that great.
I
So
agree
get
with
you-
that.
get you
I
the-
will agree.
get
Now,
you
do
the
you have a
good-
preference between vanilla extract and vanilla paste?
Extracts most
Okay.
of the time because it makes the texture of the cookie a little bit different.
Okay.
So, and then when your mixture, you'll just mix that up till it gets kind of creamy, and you'll mix it for a while because you really want those ingredients to mix in really well.
Okay.
How
And
long
then-
would you say a while is?
I would say about 2 or 3 minutes.
All right.
Okay.
And then after that has mixed really well, this is the first secret that I'm gonna, well, it's not really a secret, I hope it's not anyway, but this is what we call brown butter.
Okay.
Oh, I've heard about it.
And
Never
what
tried
it is 2 sticks of unsalted butter, and what I do is I put it in a saucepan and I cook it at medium-low, medium heat until it starts turning a little brown.
Okay.
So you have to really keep an eye on it because it will burn. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to do it kind of slowly. So when you cook it and you start seeing those little brown pieces in
Okay.
there. So when you start seeing brown, you're going to Flavor Town.
All right.
Oh,
It's like a
there we
roux. It's like
go.
a roux when you're making
But
it. Okay.
if you start seeing black, then you need to go back.
All right.
Okay. So and then you add that.
All the sayings.
You add that cup of butter in there.
Okay.
Mix that very, very well in your mixer and let it incorporate for a while. So pretend like that I'm a KitchenAid
Okay.
mixer right now. So
All right. So now that that's mixed, then do we add our dry ingredients
Then we
in?
do our dry ingredients. But what we'll do is we'll take 3 cups of all-purpose flour.
Okay.
We're going to do half a teaspoon of baking powder.
Perfect.
Add that in there.
Into the flour.
Yeah.
Into the flour. Got it.
All right, and then 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So you add that in there. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm getting it right here. 1 teaspoon. Here's the second little thing that I think is important.
Is it salt?
It is salt.
I knew.
But it is kosher
Oh, okay.
salt.
I've had a lesson in kosher salt.
All right, kosher
like a
salt
thing.
is a bigger type of salt, so its crystals are bigger. But when you take a bite of the chocolate chip cookie and you get the sweetness, and then you get that little salty bit that comes
Yeah.
with it,
It really brings out the
yeah,
flavor.
it makes you want to smack somebody. It's so good. So you put that
Now,
in
I like
there.
putting salt in my baked goods, but I'm not a fan of the on top sprinkle.
Okay.
No, I don't
agree,
do the on
yeah.
top either. I'm not a big on that. So, of course, you'll mix all that up with a whisk or something, which I've got, but I've got it in there.
Okay.
So you mix that up really well, and then as you got your mixer going, or if you're using your hands, you just add all of those ingredients. And I would say as you add them probably about a 1/4 cup at a time.
Okay, so it's not just too clumpy
Yes,
at one time.
because what you can do if you have a KitchenAid mixer and you add it all at once, you're going to have a big cloud that comes up, and it's going to make a big mess.
Nobody needs to clean all that.
So you'll just add that about a 1/4 cup at a time, but I'm just going to go ahead and pour it all in
Okay.
there.
Just so so you guys can
Okay.
see.
And then it mixes really well until it's fully incorporated, and it will form a very loose dough. And it's not going to be so sticky you can't stick your hands in it and pull it out. And then what you'll do after it does that, you add 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips.
Okay.
Does it have to only be a cup?
You can add more if you like, but it will change the effect of how the cookies will rise and
Okay.
things like that. So,
'Cause I like chocolate.
And
yeah.
then once we put our chocolate chips in, how long will we bake our cookies for typically?
you'll bake them for about 9 minutes. But when I say when you take these cookies out, you need to flatten them just a little bit.
Okay.
Because if you leave them in a ball, they will not cook in 9 minutes. You want to make them just a little bit flat. You bake them 9 minutes, pull them out, let them cool. And then, of course, you have these batches of cookies here. And if you notice, some of them have a little bit of chocolate on
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
You can melt
Those
some
have been-
almond bark.
Oh, that
Dip them
sounds
in
good.
the almond bark when they're cool, and then you've got chocolate dipped.
Now, I do have a question about how many cookies take up a pan at your household?
Let's see. So if I,
Because those are pretty large.
yeah,
Yeah.
those are large. So normally, like a batch like this can
Okay.
make 16 cookies.
Okay.
If I wanted to make them bigger, probably about a dozen.
Okay,
is what I
awesome.
would make with that batch. So.
Look, I think this is super easy, and then I know you said you like to start with your wet ingredients. Have
right.
you seen a difference whenever you don't start with that?
Yes, I have seen it where if you don't brown the butter, if you just use softened butter, it makes the texture come out completely different. And I have actually used sour cream sometimes in this, or cream cheese.
Instead of butter or
Well, it's
with the
actually
butter?
additive to it. So
Okay.
you can add it to it. It makes it a little bit softer, even though my cookies are pretty soft anyway because they're cooked short amount of time. You can add that cream cheese or that sour cream to it. It makes it just a little bit softer.
All right, guys. Well, you can find Mr. Chris and his baking competition on Facebook. We'll be right back after the break.